When you are writing an email or a social media post, do you address everybody or just one person? Let's find out on today's podcast episode. Here we go. And now let's have a word from our sponsor. Wait, who's our sponsor? Oh, I'm the sponsor. That's right. Let's dive into this. All right, what's around the corner? Holidays. The holiday sales. What? Didn't we just put down our Christmas tree? I swear that happened last week, but it's true. The holiday sales are coming up, and I want to help you to find that perfect product to sell over the holiday season. I'm seeing into the back end of shopping carts right now, and I'll tell you what, 2021 is proving to be an explosive year. And I want you to be a part of the explosion. I used to charge for this, but because of what I'm seeing happen in the industry right now, it's free. Come join me for my 5-day sprint in helping you to find your perfect product to sell online. Go to findyourperfectproduct.com. We're starting on September 27th, 12 Mountain Time, 2 Eastern Time. Yep, it's live. I'll be there with you, and my team will be with you helping to answer your questions. You ready to do this? All right, go sign up. I'll see you in there. Hey, welcome to Because I Can Live podcast. I'm Alison, and today we're diving into the second part with Cathy Heller, where she interviewed me. If you missed the first half, go back and listen to it. It's there for you, waiting for you. All right, let's dive in.
When you're selling products, unlike, let's say you're selling a program that's $3,000 or a retreat, it's whatever, 5,000, 10,000, these masterminds, 50,000. These are high ticket items. But if you're selling a product that's $8 or a product that's $55, but the cost of making it is $24, like, how do you sell enough, or how do you make that worth your while to do? Like, how do you actually
make the money?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the first thing is put aside the fact that you think you need to be the low price leader. Walmart has already claimed that. I work with a lot of people that are like, I'm making $2 off this t-shirt. I'm like, how much are you selling it for? And they're like $14.99. And I said, why are you selling it for $14.99? You're not making any money. You're working for free. You can go buy a t-shirt at Walmart for $14.99. No, you need to be selling your worth. Don't work for free. That's called volunteering. Lots of places need you to volunteer. Okay, so that's the first thing, is you have to let go of the mentality of I need to be the low price leader. You add value stacks to it. So if you sell a t-shirt, what are some of the things that you can do? So one thing is Valentine's t-shirt. Let's just take Valentine's. We just had the holiday, right? You could do Valentine's t-shirt. Then you could link to some Valentine's printables that you create in Canva. And so you've got this banner in the background. Maybe you print out or design some cute cards to go with it. And so they're not only getting a t-shirt, but they get access to this file. And the file, once you've created it, you don't have to ship this, it's already there. It's done for you. And so they think they're getting a higher value. So instead of just getting a t-shirt, you get an experience. And I call it the concert experience. Just like we can go buy a CD. Maybe some of you won't know what CDs are anymore. That seems like a lifetime ago. But we could go buy a CD for what, $10, $12, $15 for like New Kids on the Block, right? And then we would spend $150 to go see New Kids on the Block in concert. It was the same music. Right. The only difference was the experience. And so when we give our customers an experience, they're willing to pay more. And you can do that by adding the printables. You can do it in so many different ways. And so when you first get started, you're going to figure out how you can break it apart and sell that concert experience. And that's number one, going to be able to get you a higher margin on it. You want the higher margin. Like, how can you stand out from everybody else? And then when you first get started, you're selling crap around your house. So that's like 100% margin because you're just getting rid of it. And then the second thing, I like to use local companies where I can get things really fast so I can do the pre-sales. So I'm not investing a lot of my own money. Now with wholesalers, that's a middleman. It's kind of like going to like a grocery store. You can get chips and you can get milk and you see the prices and it's pretty and you can get everything put in your shopping cart and they can ship it to you. If there's a middleman, you're going to be paying a little bit more. So your margins are a little bit lower. I don't like to do anything under 35% margin. Like anything under 35% margin, it's not worth it. I like using that as a great place to test to see if the products sell. Because if they don't sell, then I don't want to invest any money in it. Then I go to the manufacturers, and then I have the manufacturers make it. And then my margin can go sky high on that because I can get the products for a lot cheaper. And so that's kind of the process of I test with local, like we did it with the 3-tiered tray once. 3-tiered trays are not patentable. They're not trademarked. They're not copy. Like you don't want to steal people's stuff, right? Like don't do that. Just don't go there. And so I tested it, some 3-tiered trays. They sold. And then I went to my manufacturer and I used one in China that I absolutely love. And I said, okay, I actually want one that's rectangular. And then I want a lip that's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall on it. Because in my mind, I'm like, I've got to create a story around this. And I sold it as this beautiful tray to look like a home decor goddess where you could actually hurry and store Legos in it for when your last minute guests come over. You can hurry and hide all the Legos that the kids leave all over the ground. And so it was solving a problem there too, of like, it's like a scoop center for them. So if you ever stepped on a Lego, you know the pain. You know the pain. And so that was the problem that I was solving with this tray. And I think it was 7 minutes and we sold out of those. They were gone so fast.
That's so fabulous. This is all just gold. And Lisa and also Jamie and Mimi are all asking, how do you find a manufacturer? How do you begin to do that?
I love it. I love it. Okay, so manufacturers, first off, find one local, okay, or like a wholesaler to test the product. Test products. Because when you start going to manufacturers, they're going to have what's called an MOQ, and that's minimum order quantity. And you have to order a certain amount. So for instance, we have this planner that I sell that we give some away for free to our people. Anyway, we have this thing right here. And so I went to a manufacturer and I said, okay, I need these planners made. And they said, okay, for a sample, it's going to cost you about $200. And I'm like, what? There's like 80 papers in there. $200? And the reason why that is because they have to go get the paper, get the ink, get the ribbon that goes inside of it. They have to set up the design, all that stuff. So my first one's going to cost a lot. It is. That's just what it is. But I wanted to see it. They shipped it to me. And when they shipped it to me, the planner just like closed flat. And I hate that. I want a planner that lays flat. Like it's got to lay flat so that people can write on it, right? And so I'm glad I spent that $200. Then I ordered 500. My first one was 500. And then I said, okay, can I get 2 different covers on it? And she's like, yeah, I can do 200 covers. And then I got them negotiated to, I think we paid $1.72 for these.
Great.
Which is pretty darn cheap because the cheapest one that I found in the States was around $10. And so I was pretty happy with that number. I got the 500 in, and then we sold them. Okay, now, can I just add one thing to it? We actually sold these for free, and we made $37 as our average order cart value. You want to hear how we did that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of Alison, we're going to take a little bit of Cathy, and we're going to marry the 2 ideas together. Okay, so here's the planner, free, you just pay shipping on it, right? This one was a 90-day planner, so you get 90-day planner. If you want a yearly planner, you can upsell. You can get the upsell for $10. So we bring them in with a free offer, and then we say, okay, we'll give you this one, but would you like the entire year? And people are like, yeah, I want the entire year. So they paid an extra $10 on top of their shipping to get the planner. So they get this planner. Then I say, hey, do you want me to show you how to, and then I showed them how to do something else, but it was a digital product. And so I take a physical product, mix it with a digital product. I paid $1.72 and my average order cart value was $37. When you mix physical with digital, it's amazing. Why? Because people love physical. There's something about touching something, right? That people crave. Like, remember the last time you bought a present and gave it to your kid or your daughter, or whatever, same person, yes, and they started crying? Like Cathy talked about flowers earlier, right? To get something physical means a lot. Like, my heart was exploding. Like, I was checking Instagram, like, did Cathy get it? And I didn't expect a thank you, but I was so excited to see her expression in her face. Like, that lit me up inside to be able to deliver something physical. And when we can tack it together, the digital and the physical, then our margins are ginormous.
It's so good. So should people, if they're going to start with a local manufacturer, just Google that? Are there manufacturers that you can find by looking at other products, like the same way you would a publisher? You look inside the book. Is there a way to find a manufacturer that you like? How do you find that information, or do you just Google around and you'll find a local manufacturer?
So I check with Alibaba first. So
Yeah.
some of you may have heard of AliExpress or Alibaba. AliExpress is more commodity. So these are more like middlemen. They go out to the manufacturers and it's express. So they get it to you fast. When you're working with Alibaba, most of the time, I say most of the time because sometimes a wholesaler will sneak in there here and there, but these are the raw manufacturers. When I was making my tray, they went out and they got the wood, they got the metal, they sculpted it together. And so I like to use Alibaba, but there's some things to look for in Alibaba to make sure that you're getting a fantastic manufacturer. Number one, how many years have they been in business? If it's under 3, I don't even look at them. I do not want to be someone's guinea pig, because I've been that and I lost a lot of money. I'm not going to be anybody's guinea pig. Then second, how's their communication? It actually has a communication score on there. If it's under 90%, I know, nope, I need someone that's going to be able to communicate with me because I'm spending a lot of money with them. I want to make sure they can communicate with me. And then they've got these little diamonds. There's, I don't know, 3 or 4 little diamonds that they can get. It's not the rating, it's how many orders they've shipped out. So if they have no diamonds, no cigar. They've got 1 diamond, neat. I want sometimes 2. I'll take 2, but I'm looking for 3 and 4. I want someone who has a reputable brand that I know that I can count on, because there's plenty that aren't. And I'm pretty picky about not losing money when it comes to buying my product. I want a good, solid, high quality product. And so those are just some of the things that I look.
Oh my God, Alison, this is so good. I'm so excited about everything you're sharing. It's so generous, and Alison's doing this all the time. Like, she does workshops and free challenges and boot camps. And so, like, stay in her world, because she's constantly pouring into the world this information. So definitely follow her. Okay. So a few questions from you guys. I want to take your questions over the next few minutes as we're wrapping up. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat. One of the questions, Alison, was if you have a favorite platform, whether it's going to be Etsy or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, or what would be your favorite place to start?
Okay, so platforms. Oh, so good. All right, so there's marketplace type platforms, and then there's your own platform. Marketplaces are like Etsy, eBay, Amazon. These are great to get things going, but you're actually working for their company. They make the rules. Remember last April, Amazon came out and said, we're not going to take any non-essential items, what they termed non-essential items. It killed a lot of businesses, but they had to play by Amazon rules. That's too risky for me, right? So I like to build my own boat, my own platform. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. You don't have to know code. Lawsy, I have a hard time logging to Facebook some days. You build your own boat. And then the other things can just be streams to float your boat, right? So I like to use Shopify. That's the platform I absolutely love and adore. And people are like, oh, this platform's $10 cheaper, or this platform's $2 cheaper. It's not worth it, because Shopify allows you to grow. You can start for $30 a month. You don't have $30? Cathy said, go drive Uber, go deliver a meal. Okay, $30 a month will save you gray hair. I promise you, I have to get mine dyed a lot because I didn't know about Shopify for a long time. Like, just save it. Shopify allows you to grow. So if you have one product, they've got a theme that helps you with one product layout, so your store doesn't look like empty and abandoned. Then when you're like, oh, I've got 2 products, then you can upgrade to 2 and then 3. And the reason why Shopify is so powerful is because you're building an email list. And your email list is like your ATM machine. And who doesn't want their own ATM machine? Everybody, right? We all love our own. We put in our own code. We say how much. Well, yeah, we don't say exactly how much we want, but we're like, we want money. Let's send out an email. And so by having your own store, you can send out emails when you want to. You can collaborate when you want to. You can put sales on when you want to. With other places, you have to abide by their rules. And Etsy, I love Etsy. I think it's a great platform to sell on. But if you have a sell, no one's going to know about it, except maybe your Instagram followers, because you can post on there. But Etsy won't tell their followers about it. So to build that strong boat, you have to have your own platform. And if Etsy changes the rules or Amazon changes the rules, like we tried Amazon, oh man, and we were so excited about it. We grew from like $7,000 a month to $55,000 a month on Amazon. We were so excited until one day, I think it was 4 months later, they completely shut us down. Like we couldn't get into our account. They wouldn't give us our money, nothing. And if all of our business was just on Amazon, we would have lost it. Let alone in September, we went on to sell it just a few months later. But because we had a solid email list, we made our own rules, we were able to sell it for a good chunk of change. And we were very, very happy with that.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
Shopify.
That's so helpful. Makes a lot of sense. One of the questions was about influencers. Do you try to get influencers to talk about where your product?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes. Because Mark Zuckerberg has plenty of money. Can we all just admit that? And you know that little boost button on your Facebook page when you post something? Like that's a direct line to his wallet. I swear. Don't ever use that boost button. He just takes your money. I love influencers because influencers have a warm audience. When you're on Facebook, you go to a cold audience. Influencers talk about product. Like I saw some of you are already going to buy a Bubba. They're $12.99 over on Amazon, right? Why? It's because I told you how it solved my problem. And Cathy putting me on here just gave me influencer status just by having me on here. And so you guys trust me. And that's what influencers are, is people who are trusted. I have a gal, she was brick and mortar and was about to lose everything. She went to a friend who had a closed account with 300 of her friends and said, hey, my friend is going online with her store. Go support her business. That's how she launched her business, with 300 people on a friend's Instagram closed account. So when you're looking for influencers, they don't have to be ginormous. They can be small, and small can be super powerful. Influencers, that's literally how I built all of my e-commerce businesses. My digital, my educational, that's something different, but all of my e-commerce businesses have been run on influencers. Why? Because influencers a lot of them can sell a lot of stuff.
It's
so my
so
daughter
true.
did it too. They don't know Facebook ads. They don't even have a Facebook account.
It's so true. I mean, that's why we're seeing that the advertisers are saying that they're spending more than like 15 times the amount of money on the budget they're spending in podcast advertising, because the engagement is so strong that the ROI is way bigger than if they put something out in some generic big open place. So it's because of the trust that the listeners have. One of the questions here, there's so many good ones, but I saw one before. Oh, how do you sell through email lists?
Okay, so email. How many of you think when you sell, well, you don't think, how many of you feel like when you sell, you go into this weird business head, and it's like you put on a suit, you carry a briefcase, you're awkwardly walking in these heels that don't fit. Like something happens in our brain when we go into sales mode where it just comes out like this robotic, right? And then an email, it looks like one of those brochures that get pasted to your front door that you just rip off and throw away, or you find on your window when you're at the grocery store, right? Samantha says, yes, I become an idiot. It's because you are in that sales mode. Get out of that sales mode and go into the service mode and talk to one person. When you get Cathy's emails, don't you feel like you're the only person on the planet she's talking to? Yeah. Talk to one person, and it's an avatar. You can create it. Mine's Nikki. She's been with me for 10 years. She likes turquoise and she has 3 kids and her husband's a lawyer. Like I talk to Nikki and it resonates with people. And it takes the robotic, I've sent out my fair share of robotic emails until I learned to just talk to Nikki and it just feels natural. And when I learned how to do that, I'm telling her, oh my gosh, I haven't had a migraine in 2 years. I love my big Bubba. Oh my gosh, I bought so many Bubbas on Amazon that they actually blocked me. So now I have to get my assistant to buy them because I've gifted it to so many people. And that's for reals. That's for real. They blocked me on it. And so all I'm doing is having a conversation with Nikki, my imaginary friend. That made me sound a little bit crazy, but I feel more comfortable talking to Nikki than I do the masses because when I think the masses, I'm like, oh, I might have a spelling error. I am the queen of spelling errors, but guess what? Nikki doesn't care. She loves me for me, and it's okay. She still loves me. And so when I talk to Nikki, the suit, the briefcase goes away, and I can step into telling her why this product can change her life.
Julie is writing what everyone's thinking. She's like, how cute is she? And then Jennifer said, I love you, Alison. You're hilarious. Yeah, we all are in love with Alison. And Tammy said, Alison, you're the best. I love how relatable you are. So yeah, we're all on the same page with you. I want to ask you this question, which is if you were looking back and you saw something that was like a little bit of a landmine or a pitfall that you hit that you've now learned from in this whole journey of learning to sell and build your business, what advice would you give yourself 7 or 6 or 5 years ago, like in the beginning to middle of all of this, so that she would know what to look out for and what you've learned from any kind of like mistakes that she could maybe avoid?
Yeah. Number one, you're going to make mistakes and it doesn't get easier. You just learn to recognize stuff. So I was actually talking to a friend about this and she's like, so when you choose products, do you ever just feel totally confident? And I'm like, no.
Like, nope, never know.
And when the product is more impactful, so that gal that sold that necklace, it took her 9 years. She was so distracted from it because I feel like when we have a product that's about to change someone's life, we've got Satan or the dark, whoever you believe in, and his minions coming after you to confuse you. I think overwhelm is one of Satan's greatest tools out there. Comparison, overwhelm, because he wants you to be miserable. And heaven forbid, if you change one person's life, let alone hundreds of people's lives, it's going to come down on you. There was a point in my business where the comparison game was so, it was hard. I had to get through how to deal with the comparison. It almost took my business down. And this is by the time I was making multiple millions of dollars a year. And I was in my head with a comparison. I found out a few years later, they hadn't even gotten to that point. But in my head, I'd made up these stories that they were so much bigger. Well, they had gone, they bought millions of followers. Yes, that was a thing. Don't ever buy followers. And then they bought their email list. And so I was comparing with someone who was cheating. And it almost took me down because it just brought so much darkness to me. So I think that's number one. And then a second thing is don't overbuy. Don't overbuy. Don't get caught up, especially like fourth quarter holiday sales. And you're like, oh, I got to get products. I got to buy lots. I got to be in stock. No, it's such a good thing to sell out. So let's say you only have 5 products and you're like, I only have 5 products. It'll look so dumb if there's nothing there. No, it'll make people want it more. Selling out is so beautiful. It causes the urgency. It causes a scarcity. They don't know you had 5 products. They could think you had 100, 200, 1,000, right? So you say sold out, coming soon, and then your next email you can say back by popular demand, and then maybe put 10 up on your site, right? You don't have to buy huge inventory. That gets a lot of people in hot water. Don't buy.
This is so good. Is there one product or category of products that tends to do better than the rest? Or is it really that since we live in a world of 7+ billion people, there's an audience for every product?
So Chia Pets. If Chia Pets can sell, anything can sell. Like it's a clay pot that you have to
Oh my
babysit.
God.
That's the dumbest product in the whole world. And they sell millions. What was it? They sell 500,000 chia pets every holiday season. I'm like, what the heck? As soon as I found that out, my husband bought a chia pet and sent it to my daughter, a Bob Ross one, just because he
Oh
wanted.
my God, that's so perfect with the hair. Yes, I get it.
So when people are like, do products sell? Any product? I'm like, well, chia pets sell. And then just think about all the stupid things out there on the market. There was a pet rock. Have you guys heard the pet rock story? They made like $1 million by going on a walk and picking up rocks. They have potatoes. They're potatoes in a mill. Like any product can sell if you have the right legal. Okay, we got to take this, make sure it's legal, and don't steal anybody's idea. Okay, we all know that we're all like honest with that. Any product can sell if you have the right marketing. So last thing, the very, very last thing, and if your product's not selling and you're trying to figure out what it is, product is usually the very, 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 very last thing. It's usually something else, pictures, pricing, your platform that you're selling on. There's probably something else with it. It's the last thing on the list to change.
Okay, this is going to lead us to the end here. When you just talked about pricing, you said that as one of the options. How do you figure out a sweet spot in the pricing when you said you don't want to be the loss leader because that spot's been taken?
Yeah.
But then again, you don't want to come up with some price that's outrageous that's not landing. So what's a good rule of thumb for choosing that?
Okay, so what I do is I'll go to Amazon, I'll go to Etsy, I'll go to Walmart, and that gives me a base of where I want to be. Most of my products sell for more than they buy on Amazon. I'll just be honest with you. Why? Because I'm not Amazon. I don't deliver a brown cold box to the doorstep. I deliver a concert experience. I take care of my customers. We put in a Laffy Taffy. We would buy Laffy Taffies literally by the truckfuls. It was so awesome. And it was a sugar and a smile in every box. We would get emails from the husbands of my customers that said, I told my wife, as long as I get the Laffy Taffy, she can order anything she wants from you. And I'm like, done. And then there was a few, we actually shipped the husbands a full padded envelope full of Laffy Taffies, addressed it to him and saying, thank you so much for letting your wife shop with us. Do you think we won them forever and ever and ever?
Beyond.
We totally did.
Adorable. Okay, so this is what I was saying is related to the pricing question, which is it's the money part. And I think we can leave it. This can be the last big question because you are so nice and genuine and sweet and a good mom and a good wife and just a good human. You just are. Like you're literally liquid sunshine and kindness. And you and I have had conversations where no one's around and you are exactly the same way. And we will cry together and laugh together. And this is you. This is just always how you are. And like you said before, when you were talking about writing emails and all of a sudden we feel like we become robotic, there is so much sort of yuckiness that comes up when we think about selling or we think about making money and selling and making lots of money and selling. And we feel like, oh, well, then implicitly we have to let go of being kind, being nice, right? And because you are not that way and I'm not that way, what's your response to that? How can we step into a place of receiving a lot of abundance and know without a doubt that we still get to be nice and yet we can open up and get beyond the shame that receiving money somehow makes you inherently greedy or bad?
Okay, so here's an example. My husband walks in the other day. I guess it was last fall. And he said, hey, Alison, I just bought some mattresses, 5 mattresses. And I was like, we don't need mattresses. What? And he said, there's a family in the Bahamas. They just lost everything, their entire house. And I just found out that they've been sleeping on their concrete slab. My heart said, that mom has to sleep on a concrete slab? No, I can't. Like, I've slept on the floor and I can't walk for a week after having 4 babies. Yeah. And I said, thank you so much for doing that. Did I have to go back and look and budget in for mattresses? No, not at all. I know without a shadow of my doubt, like with 100%ness in my bones, that I am supposed to make money because God knows I will do good things with it. It is my responsibility to show up, to figure out how to make money so that mom can sleep on a mattress. Remember in the beginning when I said I could put money on my table, but I could not put food on other people's table? It is my responsibility. I have a computer. I have a phone. I have crap around my house. I have the information. I have coaches. It is my responsibility to be able to create money to help others. My husband, he's a saint. He's like, Alison, I'm going to go and build a roof. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, yeah, and I'm going to stop by Home Depot because their nail gun broke. And I'm like, what? So I track him down. Literally, we're in Puerto Rico. It's like 10,000 degrees in the summer. And he is putting on a roof on a house that blew away during Hurricane Maria. And he bought the supplies to do that. Once again, did we have to budget it in? No, because God knows that I will do good things with my money. That's why you need to do this. It's because he knows, insert whatever you believe in. If you don't believe in God, he knows you will do good things with your money. Maybe it's paying for dinner for someone that's sick and can't go to the store. Maybe you're at the grocery store. Have you seen the cost of groceries lately? That's not fun, right? So if you're buying for your family and then your mind explodes buying food for another person's family, no, we need to serve. That's why we're here on this earth. It's our job, our responsibility to learn how to do it because we have the tools, we have the resources, we live in today. Our grandparents couldn't do it, they didn't have it. We live in today. We need to do it. It's our moral obligation to create money so that we can serve.
Yes, that's so beautiful. Mother Teresa said it takes a checkbook to change the world. And
she did?
Yep. And it's
Good.
it's amazing how for a very, very long time, thousands of years, there were a lot of men with checkbooks making decisions about like what goes on. And there was a lot of good men. Let's not say that there wasn't. A lot of amazing things have happened, right? Like a lot of schools and hospitals and a lot of infrastructure and so many good things. But there's a moment now where we can do this. Like there's a reason, like you said, it's our responsibility to create wealth. And my grandmother had to drop out of school in 6th grade, wasn't told that as a girl she could go to school and couldn't read or write much and not pass that level. And whatever money she made had to be given back to the family so they could survive. And it's just like, wow, like it's time to really, really get this. And we have some mutual friends who moved to Puerto Rico because there's a lot of tax benefits to moving there. And I heard from some of them, I won't embarrass Alison, but like, if we moved here, then what could we do with that money? Like, what could we underwrite if we sacrificed living near family and friends in Utah or in Denver and we moved here? We could then be a custodian of so much more. And it's just incredible what people are doing. So thank you, Alison. You're just totally somebody who walks the walk. I think there's really not much to say. The very, very last thing I would say is that people tend to see somebody like you, they get really inspired. You're just such a light. And then we go back to this place where we just think there's just no way. I'm not as charismatic. She said she's made to do this. She's made to talk about business. She's made to do. I don't think that I can. When people just feel like there's no way they'll ever even get close. So why bother?
The first time I ever got on a Facebook Live or anything like that, I literally had to run up and down the stairs to get out the anxiety and the jitters. When I was actually celebrating this 2 days ago, so I do videos and I'll do ads and ad videos and all that kind of stuff, right? 2 days ago was the first time in 4 years of being in front of the camera that I did it without having to re-record at least 15 times. You will want to quit. I promise you. There's going to be opposition, very much opposition, and you're going to have thoughts you didn't even know existed. You're going to have self-doubt. You're going to circle. You're not going to be able to make decisions. You're not going to be able to think normally. because you are about to change the world. Once you start to recognize that that is the pattern, that you're going to just, it's going to take 15 times, maybe 60, maybe 30, and you know that's the process before you nail it, then you can say, okay, instead of expecting a video to be recorded in 3 minutes, plan an hour to do it. And then you're not going to be frustrated because that is the process of what happens. Every time I go into a product or sell something, same thing happens to me. My husband and I, we get in an argument. I guarantee it. We bicker about the dumbest things. And we have such a good, strong relationship. But we laugh now because we're like, oh, that's why I was annoyed that you cleaned the kitchen that way. Like, that's the dumbness of some of these fights that we have. But I know that's what's going to happen because it's trying to derail me from moving forward. So recognize those thoughts and know that fumbling, redoing, spinning, not being able to make decisions is part of the process, and plan for it. I always tell my husband I have to walk 10,000 miles before I can come up with the perfect pitch or the perfect offer. I literally, like, I walk and walk and walk. And we just plan. Alison needs to walk 10,000 miles and then it'll come to her. And when it does, oh, Lozzie, it comes to me. It's just part of the process. So recognize, like, start writing the patterns down. Do you circle? Do you have a hard time making decisions? Do you fight? Do you pick a fight over something ridiculous? Find that pattern, write it down, and know, okay, this is how it's going to go. Let's go. I got people to serve. I got money to make. I got lives to change.
Is she not just an exquisite? This is what God can make, this kind of a human. Alison, tell us where we can find you, follow you, be a part of your whole world.
My Instagram has a J, so it's Alison with one L. J Prince. There was a bunch of other Alison Princes out there, and I wanted to be a little bit different. So I did Alison J Prince. I've also got a podcast, Because I Can, Life, Life, which that's been fun. Learned a lot from Cathy on podcasting for sure on that. And then my website, Alison J Prince. The top 10 takeaways. Here we go. With number 1, you do not need to be the low price leader. We don't start businesses to volunteer. We start businesses to create income. Number 2, add value to your product by creating an experience for your customer. Number 3, test products before you buy larger quantity. Tell you over and over and over again, don't spend a lot on that very first product that you've never tested before. Number 4, mix physical product with digital products to increase your order cart value. Number 5, look for reputable brands when shopping and don't overbuy. We don't need to. Don't overbuy. No. Number 6, marketplaces are great places to get things going before you eventually start your own platform. Get money coming in while you're building the thing that you want to build. Number 7, influencers have a warm, trusted audience. Reach out and start working together with influencers. Number 8, address your emails to one person. So it sounds natural, like you're writing to your best friend, one person. Number 9, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. And the cool thing is we get to learn from them. And then number 10, do good things with the money that you're making. When we serve our customers, we get money back. Then we can take that money and then go serve the rest of the world. All right. Hope you love that podcast. Go over, follow Cathy Heller. She is an amazing, fabulous, such a good friend, and a rock star interviewer. All right. I'll see you guys next week on the podcast. Bye.